Hi, YouTube family. Auntie is here, Patty Jackson. It's not cute not knowing. We've got curls, we've got scoop, my faces, and hugs. How you guys doing today? It's Tuesday as I look and think what day it is because there's so much going on. Thank you for joining us today. As always, we have a lot to unfold. First off, we're remembering singer Marva Hicks. She had a hit song in the 90s, but she was a singer. She was an actress. This woman had an incredible voice. She was on Broadway in Motown the Musical, The Lion King, on TV, Star Trek, Sister Sister. She, like I said, it was the early 90s when she had a song out. She was known in the entertainment world, but she never really had a big song. But she was this woman with this amazing voice and so talented. Singer, actress, Marva Hicks, we remember her. She was 66 years old. Ella Mai, you know she's on tour. This is a Good Morning Gorgeous tour with Mary J. Blige and Queen Naija. It's Mary J. Blige's tour. It just kicked off, the Good Morning Gorgeous tour. And there was a serious mishap in Washington, D.C. And I'm hearing that Ella Mai wanted to perform. They had no time for her to perform. Now, this is something, you know, she comes to Philly this week. This is something they've got to really figure out because a lot of people, it's Mary's tour, I know, but a lot of people are there to see Ella Mai, who has a fabulous album. It's the kind of album you want to put on repeat over and over again. So I hope as they get to the other cities, they work out these kinks because Queen Naija comes on first, then Ella Mai, then Mary. Well, you can't get into a situation where artists, there's no room for her to perform and people are waiting. So DC kind of missed out on that, and hopefully she will be at the Philadelphia show. So the movie The Woman King was #1 at the box office. There was a lot of controversy. It started coming down on Friday. People were like, boycott this movie. The movie came in #1. Viola Davis is speaking on the movie. Viola Davis said, the movie is fiction, and she wanted to tell the story of the women that no one wanted. They were recruited to be warriors between the ages of 8 and 14. These women were seen as undesirable, not having children. No one ever wanted to marry them, and they were fighting for this kingdom of Dahomey. She said this was a piece of fiction. In a recent interview that Don Lemon did on CNN, he was over covering the royal family. So Don says, well, when is the British going to give reparations? And child, this woman snapped back at Don and said, excuse me, they do need to get reparations, but not from the British people, but from the African kings who sold their people into slavery, would have them in beaches, in cages on the beaches, so that Westerners could come and snatch them up. The look on Don's face, now I don't know if he was told to argue with the woman or what, but I just think you're going to start hearing stories like this. I say all of that to say this. You're going to start seeing stories about the slave trade and what happened and who betrayed the people and how did they know to come to where they were to get the slaves. They kind of touched on it in Roots. They kind of, you know, when Kunta Kinte was tricked. It's a deep story. Now, Britain was the first country in the world, this is 1833, to abolish slavery. You know, it took about 30 more years to come to America. And let's not talk about in Texas when they didn't even tell them that slavery was over. But slavery was a horrible thing. I know it's something that many of us don't want to talk about. We're tired of seeing slave movies. But this is something I think you're going to hear more of. Viola Davis finally speaks, and she says it was fiction. Her story, this Woman King, it is fiction. But there is a lot of controversy. And can I just say this? Y'all know this ain't the history that we get taught in school. And we need to know. You need to know your history no matter how painful it is. This is a very painful piece of history, how slavery started. You're just going to hear this conversation come up. Mark my words. Golden Globes are coming back to NBC next January 2023. Now wait. Now they stopped doing the Golden Globes. There was no minorities voting for these movies. What is the difference now, and how much have they changed? Golden Globes were the ones that set the pace for the Academy Awards and award season. The Golden Globes are back. Who will be watching? They're saying 38 million people in the UK alone watched the Queen's funeral. They got to add in those U.S. numbers and from around the world, but they're saying 38 million. Arsenio Hall, why? Or who is robbing him? I'm looking at another story with the why. Who's robbing Arsenio Hall? In the past 6 weeks, Arsenio Hall has been robbed in his LA home twice, one time while he was in there. Now, they didn't take anything neither time, but he's going to have super security. I hear that in areas where they know that celebrities live, they're targeted. And people go and they get robbed. Arsenio, you got to get better security. There's no way you should be getting robbed twice. Adam Levine. A lot of us know him from The Voice, but he's a great singer from Maroon 5. He is learning the hard way today. You cannot be slipping into these DMs with women when you married and having kids. Child, this Instagram model told it all. She went so far as to say he gave her front row tickets, then she slept with them, then he wanted to know if he could name his child that he's having with his wife after her. Now, Adam says, ain't none of this true. He said he did step the line by going into her DM, but that was it. Is Adam telling the truth? This is the moral of the story. You can't be slipping into these DMs because people are looking for shine and they want to flex on the gram, and she is telling everybody that will listen what happened between her and Adam Levine. He is in so much doggone trouble. I know his wife is looking at him like, I'm sitting up here having these babies and you sleeping with these bums. I sound like I'm over 50 when I use the term bums. Okay, bimbos. But Adam Levine is in a lot of trouble. The latest star to leave Saturday Night Live is Chris Redd. He was the other black guy. He did the impressions of the New York mayor, Eric Adams. He did a lot of skits with Keenan. He's leaving the show. A lot of people have left. Pete Davidson, Kate McKinnon. For those who say, well, why doesn't Saturday Night Live just stop? Because this is its 48th season, and if Saturday Night Live ends, and it probably will soon, it'll be during its 50th season. I'm telling you, they're not going to end on an odd number when people are like, oh, just go to your 50th. It'll end probably in 2 years in its 50th or 55th season. It's been around a long time. Every year is not funny, but the superstars that came out of it, Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, Belushi, John Belushi, Chevy Chase, Tina Fey, so many greats, Kristen Wiig, so many greats, Garrett Morris. They have been on Saturday Night Live, but I think that Eddie Murphy is undoubtedly their biggest star. It took him forever to come back for a reunion, and that was like a couple of years before the pandemic. That night was just like so epic and so good. But Chris Redd is I'm tired. I have to drink more water. Chris Redd is the latest to go. Tiffany Haddish has not settled with her accusers. She's being sued along with comedian Ari Spears by a young woman who said that Tiffany took her young brothers and sisters, promised them she's going to take them to an audition and make them a star. And apparently some comedy skits were filmed that were inappropriate. Now, Tiffany, they say, was only watching. She was just there. But Tiffany has not settled. She said she wants to beat down all those things and said that she settled. I think they want to settle, but Tiffany is like, I'm innocent. I'm not settling. Boxer Mike Tyson. He's got that sciatic pain. They say that sciatic pain, whether it's your legs or your back, they say is the worst. At times, Mike Tyson has to be in a wheelchair because I think people were like, Mike, why are you in a wheelchair? That's sciatic pain. Didn't even know he had it, but he says it can be so painful. And from people that I know that have it, they say it is not fun and it is painful. But let's keep the boxer in prayer. We uncovered a lot today. Thanks so much for joining me. I didn't read the comments because I want to talk about Tyler Perry's The Jazz Man's Blues for everybody who wanted to clear me up because I was like, wait, y'all, I'm confused. I read the comments. I'm going through them tonight. See, last night was Monday Night Football, and our Eagles in Philly were playing, so it was football, 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 and they won. I'm going to read them. Give us a thumbs up. Don't just enjoy the channel. Subscribe to the channel because there's lots of scoop. There is lots and lots of scoop. Thanks so much for joining me. It's not cute not knowing. I'm Patty Jackson. I'm your auntie of pop culture.